What's going on, world? Welcome back to Small Couch Reviews. It's your boy Sam, by myself, because this is a movie that we were not planning to see at all. A friend took me to see it and ended up liking it, so I want to talk about it real quick. Let's do it. Okay, so The Last Voyage of the Demeter. It is actually an adaptation of a chapter of the novel Dracula, telling his story of how he went from Transylvania to London aboard this ship called the Demeter, hence why this was its last voyage, right? So yeah, the movie basically starts off, there's this crew of this ship. They get a bunch of cargo. Unknowing to them, one of the pieces of the cargo is Dracula's coffin. And they don't know Dracula exists in this world, just FYI, in case you're thinking. Like, nobody knows that vampires exist as of yet, which is kind of comes into play in the movie a little bit. But anyway, so the crew of this ship consists of the captain, played by Liam Cunningham, his young ward, I believe the boy's name is Timmy. He's like 8 or 9 years old, who's just he's in love with the ship and wants to do everything for the captain, especially with this being the captain's last voyage before he retires and passes the ship to his first mate, played by Dave Dastmalchian, who I gotta say, that dude, yo, I thought that his breakout role was when I saw him as Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad, excuse me, the James Gunn one. I thought that was his breakout role because, I'd seen him in Dark Knight and the Ant-Man movies, but and I've always thought he was like a character actor, but he's clearly not. And I think this right here, this is his breakout role, which it's a shame because I don't know if this movie's getting much traction. But the clear star and the main character of this movie is the doctor on the ship, a black doctor played by Corey Hawkins, who, he was in Walking Dead, he was in that 24 reboot, and I knew him most from Straight Outta Compton, the film. And yeah, he does his thing in this movie. I'm glad to see he's still working. He was spectacular. A black doctor in the late 19th century, and man, does he give a speech. He talks about how hard his journey is and how he's trying to understand why the world is the way it is. It reminded me of Lakeith Stanfield and what we just saw in Haunted Mansion, of how he gave just this amazing emotional speech. And just like with that one, it's just a shame that such a great speech is kind of wasted. But it is the movie that not a lot of people are going to see. But it was a great performance. And I put them out to say that they're really the stars of this movie. It's not Dracula. I don't think Dracula has one line in the film. And it's really about them. So they set off on their journey, then they find the stowaway, who's this young woman who's very feverish and sickly, until the doctor, heals her with blood transfusions. And when she gets her mind back, she's like, okay, if there's something bad on this ship, we got to go. We got to go now, or else we're all going to die. And of course, they don't listen to her until they start getting picked off one by one. And yeah, man, that's really, that's the plot. I loved this movie there's multiple reasons. The biggest one being the way they showed Dracula. Dracula wasn't really like, when you think of him, what do you think of? You think of the well-dressed, suave, smooth-talking man who, he's basically a player, really, Peak game, he'll talk to you until, he gets you, then he transforms into the monster with the fangs and the wings or whatever, and he'll drain your blood, right? But this movie does a good job. They say it outright, like, he is evil that sometimes wears the face of a man. I think the response to that was basically, oh, so he's a beast. And the woman, telling them this is like, no. He's not a mindless monster. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's not just some wild beast. He understands what he's doing, and he's going to do it anyway. And I love that portrayal of him because it's true. Dracula isn't like a man, like we think. He's not a man who turns into a bat to feed. He is a monster who puts on a man's face to blend in. Like, at his heart, the dude is just straight evil, and he will kill you. And I love that the movie showed him like that. Like, in this movie, he doesn't take on the form of a man at all. He's basically like he's emaciated, like he doesn't have a lot of form when you first see him because he's weak, because he has to drink. But as he starts drinking, you see him, get bigger and take more of a form, and he gets his wings and stuff, and yeah, he's a monster. And it's funny because like as he's doing these horrific things, like the camera will go to his face and he just cracks a smile. It's like he's aware that what he's doing is just messed up and he doesn't care. I loved it. Um, and yeah, man, but the stories of the crew really in between the killing also was very compelling. Like I said, the Black Doctor had his story. You have the captain, the his first in command, the kid, everyone on the ship basically had a story to tell, and it was almost it was touching in a depressing way. And there are just some characters like you don't think that the movie can afford to lose them based on the emotional investment you have in them, but yeah, it doesn't hold its punches. That's another thing. This movie is it's not afraid to like just be sad, like for lack of a better word. It goes there. Very, very much so. And I mean, at first it got me. I was like, whoa, okay. When there's a particular character who dies, I'm like, whoa, okay. And then it's like, yeah, so it's just a feeling that nobody's safe, which is a great feeling in a movie to have. And then something else to praise in this film is the cinematography. So because it's a vampire movie, a lot of this has to happen at night, right, when vampires are active. The fact that they shot, and other movies need to take note of this. I don't know how they did it, but the fact that they shot at night on the water, like, where there's water splashing and there's storms and everything, and you could very clearly see everything. Kudos to the DP here. It was phenomenal. Like, I mean, I don't think I've seen night shooting this good since like that movie Nope, Jordan Peele's movie Nope. Um, but yeah, so outside of the praise, there is obviously some things that I didn't like. Number one, I think the movie took a little too long to get started. It's definitely a slow burn movie, which I'm not complaining about, but it's just a slower burn than I would have liked. Like, there's a good 20 minutes of the movie that could have been cut out. The movie doesn't really get started until they find this girl who's stowed away, and then, she comes to and tells them about Dracula, basically. Before that, it's just, there's not a lot going on. And I hesitate to use the word boring. It's just very slow. So I feel like some of that could have been cut. The biggest negative I had about this movie, and this is a Sam negative, I admit, it's a complete nitpick. I can no longer just accept the reason that the movie has to happen for the reason for characters to be stupid, basically. Like, it's established very, very clearly that this monster only comes out at night. Like, there's a moment in time when they know this. It only comes out at night. Knowing this, why are all of the plans you execute happening at nighttime? Like, I swear, there is a moment. They're talking in the morning about what they need to do. After they talk about it, it cuts to nighttime. And they're doing the plan. Me and my friend were like, wait. We looked at each other. And like, because we both had the same thought, like, why did you wait all day to execute this plan? Like, when the sun is out is obviously when you need to do things. You're not going to hunt for a monster at nighttime when it's out. You're not going to look for it at nighttime when it's out. You're not planning your escape at nighttime when it's out. All these things should be happening during the day. And it's, again, I know the movie has to happen, but I need a better reason explained to me as to why they were doing these things so stupidly. But yeah, other than that, man, I mean, it ends in a way that could lead to a sequel, but again, I don't think it has enough traction for that, but I would definitely watch another. And yeah, I mean, this was a surprise for me. I didn't know what to think, and I'm actually glad I went to see it. So yeah, this one gets a 4 out of 5. So, last Voyage of the Demeter, did you see it this weekend? Please tell me you did over the Mega 2, which is terrible. And yeah, let me talk about it right down there in the comments, y'all. Thank you so much for watching as always, and until next time, I'm out.